Hello, I'm Alex and welcome to a different kind of travel documentary. We're not chasing the usual beauty spots today. Instead, we're visiting some of the UK's so-called most depressed cities. That label is harsh and often misses the real story. My goal isn't to sensationalize hardship, but to understand the challenges and, more importantly, the resilience and hope that persist. We'll meet locals, hear their stories, and look for the light in unexpected places. If you appreciate honest explorations like this, please consider subscribing. It helps me keep making these films. Let's begin in Middlesbrough, a town in the northeast often defined by its post-industrial struggles. The train pulls into Middlesbrough beneath a heavy grey sky, the iconic transporter bridge rising above the River Tees, a silent sentinel to the town's industrial past and enduring spirit. Its blue steel frame is more than a landmark, it's a symbol of the generations who built their lives here and a reminder of the town's once unrivaled industrial might. The grand Victorian buildings that line the town centre now house discount stores and betting shops, their ornate facades hinting at a lost prosperity. Once these streets bustled with shoppers and workers from the nearby factories. Now many shopfronts are boarded up, their windows dusty and empty, echoing with memories of busier days. Unemployment is high, child poverty is real, and life expectancy is lower than the national average. For many families, the struggle is not just about making ends meet, but about holding on to hope for something better. But these aren't just statistics, they're daily realities etched into the faces of people you pass on the street. Each person carries their own story of resilience, loss, and determination. I meet Dave, a former steelworker, in a local pub. "It was our life," he says, his hands wrapped around a pint glass. "You'd leave school Friday, start at the works Monday. My dad, my granddad, everyone worked there. It was more than a job, it was a way of life, a community." The closure of the steelworks wasn't just economic, it tore at the community's heart. Streets that once rang with the sounds of industry fell silent, and a sense of loss settled over the town. "Now, call centres if you're lucky, it's not the same," Dave says, his voice heavy with loss. The jobs are fewer, the pay lower, and the sense of pride that came with building something tangible is harder to find, yet there's change stirring. In the boho zone, creative businesses and tech startups are taking root, bringing a new energy to the town. The old and the new stand side by side, each shaping Middlesbrough's future in their own way. Sarah, a young app developer, moved back after university. People ask why Middlesbrough, but there's opportunity here. We're tough, we graft, that's in our DNA. She's part of a new generation determined to make their mark, to prove that the town's best days aren't all behind it. She's optimistic but realistic about the town's challenges. It's about building on our past, not forgetting it. We have to honour where we've come from, but also look forward. Along the Redcar coast, families walk dogs and children fly kites in the shadow of the old steelworks. The landscape is marked by both industry and nature, a place where memories linger and new stories begin. There's a stark beauty here and a fierce local pride that refuses to be extinguished, no matter the hardships faced. Depressed doesn't capture the complexity, the humour, the grit, the hope that runs through the community like a thread. Dave tells me about his grandchildren. They're the future. This town's got more to give yet. He smiles, a glimmer of hope in his eyes, believing that the next generation will write a new chapter for Middlesbrough. Middlesbrough's story isn't over. It's being rewritten every day by those who refuse to give up, who find strength in each other and in the place they call home. Next, I head to Blackpool, a town built on pleasure, now facing its own battles. But as Middlesbrough shows, even in the toughest places, hope and resilience can take root. Blackpool hits you with a rush of colour, noise and nostalgia. The Golden Mile is a place where memories of childhood holidays and the thrill of the seaside still linger in the air, even as the town changes with each passing year. The famous tower stands over a town that once defined the British seaside holiday. For generations, families flocked here for donkey rides, sticks of rock and the promise of escape from everyday life. But behind the flashing lights, Blackpool is a place of sharp contrasts. The glamour of the arcades and the pier masks a reality that's far more complicated. The promenade bustles with tourists, but just a few streets back, deprivation is stark. Here, the faded paint and boarded-up windows tell a different story, one of struggle and survival. Karen, who runs a guest house, tells me it used to be families, year after year. Now, many guests are here because they have nowhere else to go. She remembers when the town was full of laughter and hope, but now she sees more people arriving in crisis. The town's cheap accommodation has become a last resort for many in crisis. Guest houses that once welcomed holidaymakers now offer shelter to those with nowhere else to turn. Karen tries to help, but the problems, addiction, poverty, mental health are overwhelming. She does what she can, but the scale of need is immense, and support is stretched thin. On the promenade at dusk, the illuminations flicker as teenagers gather by the arcades. For them, the bright lights are both a distraction and a reminder of what's missing. "It's all right in summer," says Liam, "but winter, there's nothing to do except get into trouble." The off-season brings a sense of emptiness, and opportunities for young people are few and far between. Work is seasonal and precarious. Many dream of leaving, but there's a fierce pride too. "Don't slag it off, it's our town," one girl warns. Despite the hardships, there's a sense of belonging that runs deep. At the Grundy Arts Project, the director insists art isn't a luxury. It gives people a voice, pride and hope. The gallery is a rare space where creativity flourishes and the community can come together. Workshops and exhibitions try to spark possibility, even as the town faces deep-rooted challenges. Here, art becomes a way to imagine a different future, even if just for a moment. At the Winter Gardens, locals and tourists share a moment of joy, escaping reality for a few hours. The theatre's grandeur is a reminder of Blackpool's heyday, and its ability to bring people together endures. Blackpool's problems are visible, but so is its spirit. The people here refuse to give up, finding reasons to smile and celebrate, even in tough times. The line between pleasure and despair is thin, but efforts to change the narrative are real. Community groups, volunteers and local leaders are working to restore pride and hope, one small step at a time. Next, I travel to Hull, a city that's tried to reinvent itself through culture, determined to write a new story for its people and its future. Hull, Kingston upon Hull, once felt like the end of the line, both geographically and in reputation. For decades, it was a place many overlooked, a city on the edge of the map and some would say on the edge of hope. But in 2017, it became the UK City of Culture and the city's confidence shifted. Suddenly, Hull was in the spotlight, its streets alive with music, art and celebration. The city's story was being rewritten and people began to see it, and themselves, differently. The Humber Bridge stands as a symbol of connection for a city long defined by isolation. Stretching across the water, it links Hull to the wider world, a reminder that the city is not as cut off as it once seemed. In the city centre, investment is visible, clean public spaces, a vibrant art scene and a new sense of pride. Cafes spill onto pavements, murals brighten old walls, and there's a buzz that wasn't here before. Alan, a local historian, tells me, "The City of Culture was a defibrillator. For a year, people saw Hull differently." He remembers the excitement, the crowds, and the feeling that Hull was finally being recognised for its creativity and resilience. Hull's spirit is resilience, born from its port history and wartime devastation. The city has weathered storms from economic decline to the scars of the Blitz, and each time it has rebuilt itself with quiet determination. "We've always looked after ourselves," Alan says. "There's a stubbornness but also warmth. Hull's people are known for their humour, their loyalty, and their ability to find light in dark times. In Trinity Market, a stallholder says, "It's the people that make it. Big city, small town feel." Here, everyone seems to know each other, and there's a sense of community that's hard to find elsewhere. But the cultural revival hasn't solved everything. Some neighbourhoods still struggle, and the gap between the city centre and the outskirts is hard to ignore. On Hull's vast estates, deprivation and disconnection remain. For many, daily life is still a challenge, and opportunities can feel out of reach. Mark, a youth worker, says the new art gallery is great, but it doesn't put food on the table. Kids here feel left out. He worries that the city's new image doesn't always reach those who need hope the most. Regeneration is uneven, and the challenge is to spread hope beyond the city centre. The future depends on whether Hull can bridge these divides and lift up every part of the city. Still, Hull's belief in itself is growing. There's a sense that the city is moving forward, even if the journey is far from over. The City of Culture changed the city's psychology, if not all its fortunes. It gave people permission to dream, to imagine a different future, and to take pride in where they're from. As I leave, the marina glows at sunset, a city of grit and grace still forging its identity. Hull is a place that refuses to be defined by its past, always looking for the next chapter. Next, Sunderland, another city shaped by industry and loss. Sunderland's name echoes with the memory of shipbuilding, a global powerhouse until the last yard closed in 1988. The riverbanks are quiet now, the National Glass Centre standing where ships were once built. I meet ex-shipyard workers at a social club. It was our identity, Frank says. When the yards closed, they took our pride. The loss was more than economic, it was generational, leaving unemployment, poverty and a sense of hopelessness. They promised new jobs, another man says. We got a call centre and a car factory, it's not the same. The Nissan plant is a success, but it hasn't healed the city's wounds. In neighbourhoods like Hendon and Pallion, the scars of transition are visible. Shuttered shops, neglected spaces, but there's hope. At the Beacon of Light, a community hub, I meet Chloe, a young woman full of ambition. Sunderland gets a bad rap, but there's good stuff happening. Places like this give you a chance. She talks about the digital sector and city centre regeneration. We're not just what we've lost, we're building something new. Sunderland is torn between nostalgia and progress, but a new generation is determined to move forward. On Roker Pier, the lighthouse stands firm, a symbol of resilience and cautious optimism. My final stop, Stoke-on-Trent, the heart of the potteries. Stoke-on-Trent is a city of 6 towns, unified by its world-famous pottery industry. The bottle kilns still shape the skyline, but the industry's decline has left deep scars. Thousands of jobs have vanished, and with them a sense of identity. In Burslem, stunning architecture stands empty, a town waiting for renewal. Pat, a former pottery worker, shows me delicate plates. It was skilled work. My family worked in the pot banks for generations. When the factories closed, it was like a part of us died. The loss here is creative as well as economic. Stoke has some of the highest antidepressant prescription rates in the country, a sign of deep pain. Dr. Ahmed, a local GP, says, physical health problems are symptoms of a deeper malaise. The mental health crisis is silent but huge. Community is key to recovery. We're rebuilding social fabric, community gardens, walking groups, anything to bring people together. At Middleport Pottery, traditional methods endure, attracting tourists and providing skilled jobs. A young ceramicist tells me, people think Stoke is all doom and gloom, but there's real creative energy here. We're proud of our heritage and want to build something new. Stoke's greatest asset is its character, a blend of pride, creativity and resilience. These cities aren't just problems to solve, they're homes filled with stories and hope. My journey ends here, but the stories linger. From Middlesbrough's grit to Blackpool's faded glamour, Hull's defiance, Sunderland's resilience and Stoke's creative spirit, these cities are more than their headlines. Behind the statistics are communities full of pride, humour and hope. This film isn't about judging, but about empathy and understanding. These aren't depressed cities. They're British cities facing challenges with courage. I hope you'll look beyond the labels and see the real people and stories within. If this journey resonated, please subscribe and join me for the next one. Thank you for watching.